for you guys. Notice how it like bangs off the transitions. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm reviewing a 2022 Nissan Rogue Platinum. As always though, before we get into the video, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 3-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 28 around town and then 34 on the highway, with power outputs for this powertrain being 201 horsepower and then 225 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Rogue Platinum. So first off, you guys can see here, we've got these kind of like smooth lines on either side of the hood. And then coming down below, we've got the daytime running light, which is separated from the headlight itself. So it kind of has a pretty unique stylistic look to it. And then notice here with the fog light, it's also an LED there at the bottom. And then we have parking sensors integrated here into the front end. And then look at the venting there on the side. Actually looks pretty cool. We have Nissan's signature smiley face grille is what I call it, because it kind of looks like a smiley face. And then their new logo there, but the rest of the grille is like blacked out, so that looks pretty good. And then notice there with the chrome trim there at the bottom. And well, there's the front end. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 35mm tires wrapped on 19-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see from a coloration perspective, you've got the silver on the top, and then it's like a dark metallic gray below that. And the edges are pretty sharp. It almost looks like sword blades pointing towards the Nissan logo. And then here's a quick look at the front suspension. And then notice here with the fender flare, and then the mirrors have been blacked out and the roof, so it gives it a pretty cool aesthetic. We do have some chrome trim there at the top and then down below as well. And if we take a few steps back, actually I'm gonna have to go over here because I totally just ran into a bush. Anyways, there you go. There is your full side profile on the Rogue. So here's a key fob. We have our remote start function, our lock, our unlock, and then the opening here for the hatch, and then Nissan's new logo there at the top. Now fully automated, which is pretty cool. We have our Rogue mat right here, and then we have another mat that isn't labeled. But anyways, we have this like double storage situation here in the back, where basically we can pick up this one, and then you can pick up another one, and that's where the spare tire lives out its days. And you know, the Rogue isn't a massive SUV, but this still has a decent amount of storage space here in the rear, and you can throw down the second row if you want even more storage space. And then we can press that to lower it back down. And there you go. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear, you can see again with the roof how that's black and how that comes down to the rear. And we have the Rogue signature taillights here. And then notice there with the new Nissan logo, and then we have our Platinum badge. You can flex on everyone that you got the luxury package. Parking sensors here on the rear as well. And notice that we don't have like a prominent exhaust tip sticking out to kind of make it so the design looks a little bit cleaner from a rear perspective, and there you go. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see here, we've got the sunshade for the rear, and then notice here with the leather trim just down below that. Look at the trimmer on the window switch. And then here are these seats. They actually look really nice. Notice it's perforated here in the center, and then you have like the quilted design there as well. And overall just looks really cool. And then popping in here, as you guys can see, legroom's pretty good. Headroom's pretty good as well, and then notice the storage pocket right here. And then we've got some vents here for the rear passengers, heated seats, climate zone here for the rear, and then we've got USBs. And now here we have our cup holder armrest situation. Let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. You guys can see again with the leather trim, and then notice the stitching goes throughout, and again with that two-tone design. We've got two different settings for the memory seats, all of our window controls here, and then look at the adjustments for the mirrors. Blind spot mirroring with the mirrors as well. And then here's the front seat. You can see perforated there, and then look at the stitching design all throughout. And then notice here with the two-tone design. And then your power adjustments here on the side with the lumbar. And then you guys can see here with the pedal layout down below. And then this is to open up the trunk. You've got your steering assistance, and that's for the heads-up display. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel in the Rogue. You guys can see really nice trim all around, and then notice the stitching there on the center portion. We do have adaptive cruise control here with the Rogue, and then notice there with the paddle shifters on the back, and then controls for the center stack, volume controls, and then our turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, all the normal stuff, and I think it's actually a really good looking steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. It's a full digital gauge cluster. I think it looks absolutely fantastic from an aesthetic perspective. There are some different menus that you can scroll through to see different bits of info on the Rogue, and then like your fuel economy, all that kind of stuff. And you guys can see basically the different averages here. So like that's the total average here. And then so far with the driving that I've been doing, almost 200 miles, you guys can see what I've been averaging, which I think is, you know, pretty decent. It's, you know, within what the EPA rates this at, basically for highway and city combined. And other than that, we do have some different drive modes. So notice we have our off-road mode, we have our snow, auto, and then our eco mode. And then we also have a sport mode, which is like not on the main tab. It's funny, you have to scroll down to that tab. But yeah, there you go. Now here is the infotainment system. So first off, if we pop it in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And then you guys can see the bird's eye view with that as well. And yeah, overall resolution of the camera is actually pretty solid, and it's cool. You can see all around. And then there is this camera button that you can press here that'll pop in the camera so you guys can see like the front camera, side camera. And so again, it's not a massive SUV, but it's nice that it's covered. As for the infotainment system, response time with the screen is pretty solid. As you guys can see, there's a little bit of a delay, but overall it's pretty good. And then having the shortcut buttons here at the bottom definitely helps out quite a bit. And I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, pretty user-friendly overall, and well, there you go. Now down below here, we've got a couple of vents, heated seats for the front, dual zone climate for the front, also heated steering wheel, and then notice we can control the rear climate as well. And then also, I just want to mention, look at the dash material use, and I like the two-tone design of this one. And then you guys can see here with the USBs, all that stuff, wireless phone charger, stop start button is in a pretty random place. And then notice again here on the side, the shifter's pretty interesting in the new Rogue. Definitely get used to it though. Got your parking brake here, auto hold, and then a couple cup holders, and then you got the little drive mode dial selector. And then center console is actually pretty big. This is how you control the ambient lighting, by the way. So I don't think it's gonna pick, oh there you go, you actually can see it on camera. So notice I can change the color. Pretty cool, so you can have a party here in the Rogue. Also notice the stitching kind of goes on a line there. And then this isn't real, but I've reviewed $70,000 cars with wood looking trim that isn't real either, so I'm not gonna knock the Rogue for it. But you know, again, from an aesthetic perspective, it looks very upscale. And then here is the panoramic sunroof. You can see the controls for the sunroof. And then sunglass holder. And yeah, that's all. So here's a window sticker for this Nissan Rogue Platinum. You guys can see here with the standard equipment that comes with the Rogue. And pretty much everything is standard. That's the cool thing about Nissan's packages. And then notice the base price there, $38,430. And then you guys can see the total MSRP here, which is $42,325. And with that being said, let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and you guys can hopefully now see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, which you can do with blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. Oh, setting off here in the Nissan Rogue, and I left this thing sitting in the sun all day today, and so it is so hot in here, but I can't turn up the air conditioning, because if I do, then you guys won't be able to hear me because of how loud it is. But anyways, let's talk about this new Nissan Rogue. So you guys know I've already reviewed like a lower down package on the new Rogue with the new powertrain, and I actually really liked it. I like how it you know, delivers power and everything. We'll kind of talk about that more with the acceleration, but this Platinum package is very nice. Like, Nissan has definitely stepped up the game. This does feel like a more premium vehicle, and I've noticed that across Nissan's lineup, where they're using nicer materials and the design looks nicer. And you know, I hear a lot of comments from people talking about how like, oh, Nissans aren't that nice, and it's like, okay, well, have you actually gotten in a new Nissan? And usually the answer is, oh, I got in one like 10 years ago. And it's like, okay, well, there's a big difference, right? They've overhauled a lot of stuff over the last few years, that is for sure. And so It's it definitely just feels a lot more luxurious. Now, the only thing that this is missing, in my personal opinion, is air-conditioned seats. I believe the Toyota RAV4, you can get air-conditioned seats at this price point, and so I think that Nissan definitely needs to add those. And this already has perforation, so it's like you just throw a fan in the seat. What is this truck doing? Could you imagine like taking one of those things off-road? That'd be crazy. I know it's not related to the video, but just a thought, because that person just went off the side. But anyways, this is smooth, this is comfortable. Now I am going to pop it into the sport mode that's off the tab. It's so funny. And, well, actually, no, I'll leave it in automatic mode. I was going to say I was going to put it in manual mode, but we'll leave it in automatic mode for you guys. Notice how it like bangs off the transitions. Nissan's new tuning on the CVT is just great. Whatever they've done, it really works. It's smooth, and here I'll use the paddles to kind of emphasize this point. So we're in second. It's still a CVT, okay? At the end of the day, it's still a CVT, but it's very smooth. It's not nearly as like grotesque as what CVTs used to feel like, you know, 10 years ago. So they've definitely made a huge improvement with this, and I think, you know, people going from a regular torque converter automatic to this won't feel too like off-put by it. And that turbocharged engine it's torquey, and it really helps out at high elevation, because I also happen to have another CVT vehicle this week as a tester. It's the new Toyota Corolla Cross, and I'll talk about that more in that review. But the reason I'm mentioning it in this review is, man, that thing feels so gutless at elevation because it's naturally aspirated, and yeah, it's just super sluggish. It's in a different segment than this, but yeah, this new turbocharged 3-cylinder is great. I think this is a perfect pairing for the Rogue. But let's I guess sum things up here with this Rogue. So first off, exterior wise, it does kind of look pretty interesting. Nissan's done some pretty interesting styling with their new lineup, but overall I feel like it's a pretty good looking SUV on the outside, because pretty much everyone has strange styling on their SUVs nowadays to just, I don't know what automakers are thinking. I think that they're just trying to be different or something. And then from an interior perspective, I love it. This interior is very nice. Like, yeah, when you press into this, you know, it's like soft on the top, and you press into it, and there's not like a lot of cushioning there, but it's like, who cares? I'm not gonna be like resting on this, and so it looks nice, right? I feel like I'm in a much more expensive interior than what this car's price point suggests. And then from a driving perspective, it's a really good daily driver. First off, it's comfortable. It's you know, the cabin's pretty quiet. It's smooth, like seat comfort's great. And yeah, this turbocharged engine really improved the Rogue a massive amount. Now, you know, the last engine with the Rogue wasn't horrible, but like, I mean, when you compare it to this new turbocharged engine, it looks pretty bad, especially when we're at like 4,500 feet elevation, right? There's a huge difference between both of the vehicles. And so, yeah, I think that Nissan definitely stepped up the game a massive amount with the Rogue, and I think this new one's the one to get. Now, in terms of packages, like, should you get the Platinum? Yeah, if you want all the luxury features, it's still, you know, very reasonably priced for what it is. But, you know, something, you know, lower down package still is a very nice car. And it's typically, you know, with Nissan, it seems like the middle of the line packages are like the sweet spot, because you still get a pretty nice interior, and you get lots of nice features, and, you know, it's a little bit less expensive than the fully loaded package. But yeah, overall, super impressed. And, you know, I was not a fan of the CVTs in the past, but I like this one. That's gonna sum things up for a video on this 2022 Nissan Rogue, and with that being said, I'll see all of you in that next video.